Over the past few seasons, I've had the opportunity to harvest 10 whitetail trophy bucks in 10 different states. One of the main things I attribute to that success is having my gear dialed in and ready before the season gets here. So what I want to do in these videos is help you know what's out there, what's the latest and greatest, or maybe what is some products that are out there that you don't know about that can help you achieve your goals this fall in the whitetail woods. So let's go ahead, sit down, buckle up, dive in to gear season 2025. What's up, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Revive Outdoors. If this is your first time to our channel, thanks for tuning in, and if you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I am excited because in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Ravin LR. It's their new long-range crossbow that they come out. It's very similar to their kind of traditional style of how they build crossbows. You know, you have the R500 out there, which is a different, complete build. You have the R18 that's a completely different build. But then this LR fits into the series of what you've seen like with my R26, with R10s, with the other platforms that are similar to that. So I'm excited to dive into the details today. What they claim in the manual itself is that it shoots up to 130, 135 yards. And I have been told that they have been shooting it out to 200 yards. Of course, whether you choose to hunt at these distances or not, that is completely up to you and has a lot of variables in play there. But when it comes to target shooting, it is going to be a lot of fun. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to go through all of the specs of the crossbow. We're going to go into all of the features of the crossbow, and we're going to show you a complete unboxing from brand new in the box, how to put the scope on, how to sight it in, how to get this thing ready to go for your range days and other activities that you like to do. And so we are going to dive in. The products that I have behind me here, you will see featured in today's video. I'll be sure to put those in the show notes as well. You hit that more button and then more again, and it will get you to all of those details. It's not the easiest thing to navigate to, but that is how you get to it, more and more. And then anytime you use any of our discount codes or any of our links, they donate back to our mission here at Revive Outdoors, which you can learn more about at the end of this video. But let's go ahead and dive into the details. I have opened this up and given it a little sneak peek myself, but otherwise I am seeing this for the first time just like you are. I went ahead and pulled out the manuals, read through those so I can be familiar with everything for you, but this is my first look at the crossbow as well and everything that's included in it. So let's go ahead and start to pull it out and unpackage it. Man, this thing is sweet. I am excited. It just feels really, really good. I mean, you can see that balance on it right there. Let's go ahead and I'll set it over to the side and we'll see what else is in the box. You have your 3 arrows. It comes with the 400 grain. It comes with the .001. That is their best premium arrow that they make, or bolt that they make. And then you're going to have your quiver over here as well as the attachment bracket for that quiver, which we'll show you how to install here in just a minute. I'll go ahead and set this back here. Let's look at what else we got in here. So this is going to be your adjustable turret scope, which it will have the details included in the box of how to sight it in, how to mount it, how to get it all ready on your crossbow. But we're going to walk through that in today's episode as well. And then here on the end, you have your cocking handle. And then here in this bag, you are going to have a registration card for your Ravin crossbow. It's going to give you 25% off. Any Ravin apparel has the Ravin sticker, and then it's going to have your practice points here. That's going to be everything that is included in the box. One thing that is not going to have is not going to have a torque wrench. It's also not going to have a level for you to be able to make sure your crossbow limbs are level and that your scope is torqued down the way that it needs to be. So if you do not have those tools, or you are not mechanically inclined, or you are inclined to over tighten things and break them, or you are just somebody who is not comfortable doing this, you can take this to your local pro shop and they can handle it. Anywhere Ravin crossbows are sold, they have the ability to mount these for you. But go ahead and check in with your local pro shops and let them help you out if this is not something you feel comfortable with. But if you do, I'll show you how easy it is today in the episode, and we will go ahead and get things dialed in. Let's go ahead and dive into the specs and the features. We are going to be starting by talking about the speed. So this, with a 400 grain setup, is going to be coming in at 450 feet per second with a kinetic energy of 180 foot-pounds. The weight of the crossbow is 8.1 pounds with a length of 34 inches and a draw force of 12 pounds. This is powered by the HeliCoil technology. The limbs are quad limb composite. The riser is aluminum CNC, and then the stock style is going to be ambidextrous. It's going to have that soft touch, and then the stock material itself is going to be polymer. With the new Ravin LR, you are going to be able to redefine long-range crossbow accuracy and performance. This is inspired by modern-day long rifles and delivers power, precision, and incredible accuracy. Featuring a longer profile for enhanced balance and reduced recoil, this crossbow is built for downrange accuracy at distances up to 135 yards. Shooting at 450 feet per second and 180 pounds of kinetic energy, the LR offers consistent performance with a silent cocking system and adjustable cheek comb and stock for a custom fit. The full-length Picatinny rail supports additional accessories like the included 1x8x24 adjustable turret scope. It comes fully assembled, hunt ready, and the LR also comes with the scope level, 3-arrow quiver, draw handle, 3 premium arrows, and Raving's premium arrow rest. Once you unbox the turret scope, you are going to see that it comes with the mount, it comes with the scope itself, which has the on and off for the red and the green. So you're just going to spin that back and forth, and it's going to turn on and illuminate inside the scope. You can see it is the 1x8x24, so you're just going to spin that to zoom it in and out. It's going to come with your lens cap covers. You're going to have a flathead screwdriver, an Allen wrench, and a lens cloth. And then over here, something we'll talk about later in the video is your feet per second chart. Now that you have seen everything that's included in both the crossbow box and the scope box, let's go ahead and dive into some installation steps, and then we'll get to zeroing in our scope. The first part of the install that we are going to do is we're going to install this quiver and draw handle mount. When you look at this mount, you can see that it has that flathead screw in the center, which you will find insert for threads right here. And what I wanted to point out is if you imagine this being a bat wing like Batman, the tips of the wings being down here at the bottom on each side, that is what you're going to face towards the rear. And so you're just going to take it underneath here, you're going to find those threads, and then you're going to go ahead and screw it down. I always recommend starting with hand tightening anything that you are threading in, just to make sure you're not cross threading it. And then once you have it nice and tight, then you can flip over to a flathead screwdriver and go ahead and tighten that down. Once you have that bracket tightened down, the next thing that you're going to do, if you want to at this time, is install your quiver or your cocking handle. One thing I wanted to point out, as we mentioned earlier in the specs, is it has ambidextrous features built into it across the board. And so the mounting bracket here is going to be ambidextrous, the safety is going to be ambidextrous, the cocking is going to be ambidextrous, and then back here at the rear, if you don't want to put your cocking handle in the front, you can mount it back here in the rear, which I'll show you here in just a second. So when it comes to installing these on the crossbow, all you're going to do is simply press in on this button here on each side, and you're going to go ahead and install it. So you have these two circles here, you're going to go ahead and press those in, and you are going to go ahead and have that locked in there nice and tight. It's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to make any noise, it's really quiet. So you can put your quiver on the right side or the left side of the crossbow. Same with the cocking handle, you can move it around. If you want to put the cocking handle back here on the rear, all you're simply going to do is where this handle is here on the back, this kind of rubberized portion, you're going to set it down into this groove here, and then you are going to line the circle with the circle on your cocking handle, and then it's going to slide right in there nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. I actually like it back here compared to up front, because if you need to recock, it's already back here. You throw it on real quick, it's all right here together, and you don't have to reach for it. But I have historically on my R26 carried it up here, so it works fine up there just as well. There's just two different options that you have. Now that we know how to do those things, let's go ahead and move to the most important part of this video when it comes to the setup portion, is putting the scope on here. One thing I want want to point out is you're going to have two different manuals. You're going to have a manual for the crossbow, and then you're going to have a manual for the turret scope. If you have the turret scope, which you should with the LR, it has its own manual. The reason I want to point that out is because it has two different designated eye reliefs in one manual compared to the other, so make sure that you're following the turret manual because it has a 2.75 to 3.75 inches of eye relief that you have to have versus a 2 to 3, I believe is what was in the crossbow manual. The crossbow manual is universal to a couple of other crossbows, so that's why you want to make sure you pay specific attention to the turret crossbow scope manual to make sure that you get the proper eye relief and you're going through the instructions. So let's go ahead and get started with the scope install. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the bracket and you're going to want to loosen up where it mounts to the Picatinny rail. Another thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and take the tops off of this scope bracket so you can then sit this crossbow scope down in here and you can start to set your eye relief. And so I will center this down and then I will adjust it once I get down on the scope and set my eye relief. Another thing that a lot of people fail to do is they forget when it comes to eye relief to go ahead and zoom that scope all the way in to 8x, because that is where you're going to struggle with the most eye relief. So you're going to want to move that up and down the Picatinny rail or within the mount to get your proper eye relief. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Once you have a good idea of where your eye relief is going to be, then you're going to go ahead and put these tops back on the scope and you are going to just snug them down. You're not going to tighten them down all the way yet because we want to make sure that everything is level before we lock everything in. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to first make sure the crossbow is level, then we will move to the scope itself and make sure that we level it to the crossbow because the brackets are mounted on the Picatinny rail. So therefore, once that mounting bracket becomes a part of the crossbow, all you have to do is level that crossbow and then level your scope. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and tighten down the mount to the Picatinny rail and lock that in, and then we will move up here to these 12 screws. Again, you want to pay specific attention if you're doing this yourself to make sure that you torque those down to the right torque setting. It's going to be 40 inch-pounds. So if you don't have a torque wrench, you want to make sure that you do not over tighten these, but I would just invest in a $20 torque wrench on Amazon. Go ahead and have that on your way because you're going to use it for a lot of different things, and you need to have that so you don't break the scope or you don't tighten it down tight enough, and then you are dealing with the scope that's moving around and you're losing your zero over and over, and then you're blaming Ravin or somebody else for the issue when it's really that you didn't install it right. Another thing is you want to evenly progress through these 12 screws and secure them down all at once, because if you tighten them down really heavy on the back and then the front is going to be messed up. So just evenly tighten those screws down as you go. Once you have the scope installed, you have it properly torqued, you have your eye relief set between 2.75 and 3.75 inches. Next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your ocular lens back here in the back and you're going to go ahead and set it. What they recommend is looking at a target about 30 yards away, and then you're going to spin this back and forth until you can see both the target clearly and your reticle clearly. For me, I usually am all the way in because I have good eyesight, but it's different to different people for different reasons. So just go ahead, get down and verify that it looks good to you. Then once you have that ocular lens set, you're going to go ahead and put this eyepiece back on here. You're just going to push it to where it's just flush up and kind of you'll feel that indentation kind of sit down on that scope, and then you can go ahead and close that scope cap back. But what we'll do now is we will go ahead and get the target set up and go through the zeroing process. As we start the zeroing process, I want to talk about a few things that I did off camera. So the first thing, I installed this bubble. So when you install this bubble, you want to make sure that your crossbow is level first, and then install the bubble onto the scope. When it comes together, you're gonna have to remove some inserts to get it to fit on the scope. Then you're just gonna tighten it down to the correct torque rating that we had for the scope earlier. And then another thing that I did is I went ahead and removed these turrets. So the first one just screws off, and then this one right here on the top has set screws that you have to screw out. There was 3 of them that you have to loosen up that are tightened down on here, and then remove that cap. This this is going to be your elevation, so this is going to be your up and down, and then this over here is going to be your windage, which is going to be left to right. When you look in the manual, it actually says to move the target out to 20. What I'm going to do, since this is a brand new crossbow, I am going to start at 10 just to be safe and get it dialed in at 10 and then back up to 20. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go through the cocking portion, so if you don't know how to do that, we will go ahead and show you how. First thing, you're just going to remove your cocking handle. Underneath here, you have a release, so you can see it's starting to move the cocking mechanism there. What we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and push that button in, and then you're going to slide this down until you hear it click. So once you have that audible click, then you know it's locked in. You can release that button, attach your cocking handle, and then go ahead and turn it. I like that this is silent cocking and it is safe. When it comes to loading your bolt in the crossbow, the main thing you want to pay attention to is that your vanes on this, the fletching is going down. So you have the white fletching going down. If at any point in time, due to storage or due to any kind of hunting scenario or any situation where you bend these fletchings and they kind of curl over, they kind of warp over, kind of, you know, like they curl like this, maybe from sitting in the case, all you have to do instead of replacing them is run really hot water over them, obviously not boiling hot, and then you can just pull them back straight, let them cool, and they'll be perfectly fine. But let's go ahead and load it up. The way that you do that is you slide underneath the Picatinny rail here, slide it back until you hear it lock in there on the knot portion, and then you are ready to shoot. So let's go ahead and see how dialed in we are here at 10 yards. Okay, we are a little high, so what we're going to do is adjust down, and it looks like we are slightly to the right. As we look at the target, this is only at 10 yards, and so you can see, imagine what that would be at 50, 60, 100, 135 yards. So you have this E right here. You can see how it is filled in. That's where I was aiming, so we'll make just a couple of quick adjustments and then we'll shoot again. I now have it sighted in at 20 yards, and so you can see I was kind of, what I was doing here is I was aiming at the dead center, hit a little low. I was aiming at the top of this point and hit a little right, and then up here I was aiming at the top of the cross and hit dead on. So able to get it dialed in at 20 yards. I did want to mention in this video, if you are looking for something like this that's easy to pull your crossbow bolts out, Big Shot Targets is a big supporter of our mission here at Revive Outdoors, and so be sure to use our code REVIVE and they will give us a donation back to us when you make that purchase. But this is an incredible crossbow target. I mean, you could see we were shooting it at 10 yards a second ago, absolutely blasting it, and you can come out here with 2 fingers and pull it out. And so what we'll do now is we will back it out to 50 yards and we will go ahead and get it sighted in there. Now, the way that that process works is we have tapes that we have the option to use. So it will have a recommended tape based off the feet per second for the LR. You can use and then kind of adjust tapes from there to see which one is the one that you need to dial in for that elevation. Another option that you have is you can use the blank tape, and then you can specifically go at different yardages and just mark them with a permanent marker all the way around that elevation knob to see where it's at. So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the tapes that they provide, see if we can get it dialed in, and then we're going to go from there. So the next step with that is moving this back out to 50, putting the recommended for the LR, the yardage tape for the recommended LR feet per second on it, and seeing how it hit. But let's go ahead and see what we can get into. Now that we are back up here at the crossbow, we have our tapes in hand. We are going to go over here to the manual and read what it says. So it says for the model LR, recommended at 450 feet per second. You're going to find that 450 feet per second tape on here, and then you are going to install it onto the crossbow. Now that we have the tape installed, let's go ahead and shoot it out to 50 yards. Go ahead and take this turret and we are going to turn it to 50. Recock it and see where it hits this time. So as I'm pushing this down, this is not wanting to release. If you ever run into that, all you got to do is act like you are spinning it to tighten it. It'll pull it back in a little, and then it'll allow you to release that button You can leave that on, let it spin, or you can get it out of the way and then reattach it. Money. This thing is gonna be so much fun. That one was a little high. That was probably on me. I didn't settle my breath. All right, let's look at the manual here, see if we are done now. Yep, we are done sighting it in, unless we realize maybe at different distances that we need to make adjustments. And so let's go ahead and set it up at 75, 100, and then 120 and see where we hit. I have the range set up here now, so I have the turkey at 75, the bear at 100, and then the buck at 120. So I'm excited to shoot downrange and check this out at a distance. And then before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of products that you are going to see here in just a second. So the Dead Nuts archery targets, they're 2D targets, very affordable. So you can use a bag target, buy a 2D cutout, and then attach it to your bag, and then you have a 3D target. What I love about it is 3D targets are huge. They take up a lot of space. This can go in a sliver of your garage and in your truck when you are traveling. Throw your bag, your target bag back in there, and then you can, all you have to do is worry about taking that small bag, and then you have a 2D target that is a 3D image. And it's really cool, really affordable. Another thing I want to talk about is this Ready Ranger. This is a magnet holder, so I don't have it fully secure yet. I'm just testing it out today, but just wanted to go ahead and show you because I'll have a video coming up on it. But once it is secure here to a bino harness, you can attach a magnet to your rangefinder, range, and then boom, it's going to snap there. When you need it off, you just use it and then you snap it right back and it's going to hold. Another thing is Striver Gear bino harness that I have is something that I really love. Also love the Stealth Rig. Guys on my team have the Stealth Rig from TAC still, but I am trying out the Striver Gear. Tried it out during the end of deer season as well as the Stealth Rig, and also into turkey season. So I can give y'all a really good bit of feedback on it and the Stealth Rig later to come in an episode. All the product links will be in the show notes. Again, you hit more and then more and you will see those. But let's go ahead and get to shooting. Nice. Money. For all the turkey experts out there, I want to know, is this going to be a dead bird? This will be with the 2-inch Raving broadhead at 75 yards. So is this turkey dead or is it not? This is the kill zone according to the Dead Nuts, is this circle here. But you tell me where you're supposed to aim. I would love to know. For the bear here, I hit within an inch of my last shot, so it's a good grouping here. Definitely a dead bear. That was the lungs last time, so we'll go ahead and pull this arrow out and move over to the deer, see what it is like. We have a much improved shot here on Mr. Buck this time. Got him in the lungs, probably back of the lungs there. But let's go ahead and move back to the crossbow. I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. I've been waiting to get my hands on the LR and put it to a demo for y'all. It has been a ton of fun. I know we're gonna have more episodes coming. We're gonna have a specific Dead Nuts episode that talks about the targets that we use today, Striver gear, jacked gear, all the different things that you've seen. We'll have individual episodes for, but one thing I didn't talk about is the cheek weld here and the stock of it. These are both adjustable, and the way that you adjust those is you just slightly loosen them up until they start moving, and then you raise them or lower them or push them in, pull them out until you get it to where you want it, and then you tighten back down those bolts. It has little wedge bolts that when they come together they spread apart and it locks it in there. So I had to raise it up a little bit for my cheek weld to be right in line with the scope, but once I did that, very comfortable, very good sight picture, and a really fun thing to shoot. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Be sure all the product links when you hit more and then more again. I know it's a little bit of an extra step, but it helps us out a ton when you use those product links because they donate back to our mission. And then anywhere that we have a discount code, be sure to use those as well for your discount, but also for the same thing. But I thank you again for watching today's episode. Comment any questions that you have. More than happy to answer those if I didn't answer them in today's episodes. And if you want to see any kind of content going forward, let us know about that. But again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more about Revive Outdoors mission, and we'll see you on the next episode. If this is your first time to our channel, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do here at Revive Outdoors. So we are a nonprofit based out of Birmingham, Alabama, serving multiple states through our mission. Our mission is to make a positive and an eternal impact through conservation. The positive side of that comes to helping connect people through mental health counseling, and then the eternal side is connecting people to salvation through Jesus Christ. So what we do to accomplish that mission is we teach adults how to hunt. So we have a hunting 101 workshop where they can learn all about either deer or turkey hunting, and then they qualify for a one-on-one mentored hunt with our team. We have over 40 volunteers that volunteer their time to take these mentees out on mentored hunts. During that mentored hunt, they're going to take what they learned in that workshop and they're going to apply it to that hunt. But while they are also on that hunt, our team is going to identify where they are at in their walk in life. Do they need to take a step towards mental health counseling, or towards salvation, or towards joining our team, or maybe getting connected with the church or a small group? We want to make that positive and eternal impact. And since 2020, we've had 400 adults come through our mentorship program. We have seen over 100 get connected to mental health counseling, and we have seen 54 individuals receive salvation through Jesus Christ. So God is all in this and leading us to make a huge impact for the kingdom, and we are grateful to be a part of that. And ways that you can be a part of that is you can join our team as well. Whether you're in Alabama or maybe you're in another state, we have virtual meetings where you can connect. Thank God for technology. You can connect to our team, but we would be happy to connect with you if that's something that you're interested in. If you'd like to support us financially, first thing first is use the discount codes or click on the links that we have for the products that you are looking to buy. If you click more and then you hit more again, it'll get to our show notes. You click that link. I know it's an extra step that you have to take, but it helps that company know that you came from our channel, and they will make a donation back to our mission here at Revive Outdoors. You can also give through Venmo, PayPal, or our website if you want to support us that way. But before you leave this episode today, be sure to like the video and then subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. It's completely free, doesn't cost you anything, but helps us out a ton. And then be sure to comment any questions that you have, but also comment what you want to see in future episodes so we know what kind of content that you are looking for, so we can help you make those informed purchase decisions. But we thank you again for watching today's episode, and we will see you on the next one.